talk about CG Power now, because investors have received over 20 times returns from the stock in the last 3 years. Prashant, tell us more about the growth trajectory of CG Power.
Sonia, it's just a sort of softish feature piece, but I think it makes sense because, you know, incredible what the Murugappa Group has been able to do with CG Power. So let me just actually go across and explain what has happened. And the reason why I'm doing this today, of all days, is because it's hit a 1 lakh crore market capitalization, right? That is just incredible. Now, it is obviously not just one thing. It's many things which has contributed to this. It's not just the sort of leadership of the Murugappa Group and the person in charge, which we'll get to in just a bit. It's, of course, also the fact that, you know, the businesses it operates in has had a huge tailwind. Transformers, switch gears. I mean, the space has boomed. And, of course, the company has taken advantage of it in a very big way. So, a lakh crore in market capitalization. But let's just quickly tell you a brief history of the company. And, you know, we'll start in 1878, about 150 years ago, and end up in 2024. So, you know, it was actually founded as a business in 1878. So that's how old the company is. Just a few milestones, really. You know, was taken over by the Thapars, the founder of the present-day Thapar Group, Mr. Karamchand Thapar. That was in 1947. In 1966, you know, the CG Power as a business, as an entity came into being. Between 1960 and 2005, I mean, basically it used to do motors. Then it bought into transformer technology. It forayed into switch gear, etc., etc. So this is that 40-year period. Between 2005 2012, I mean, the company started actually spreading its wings outside of the country, outside of India. It actually bought 5-6 companies. It started with that, you know, Belgian-based Powell's Group, which it acquired. And of course, later over the years, it also started selling a lot of these companies. In 2016, there was a demerger of the Consumer Products Division, which is the sort of, you know, Crumpton Consumer, the other name, which of course did very well this Friday. In 2019, then there was trouble, right? There were reports of unauthorized transactions, siphoning of funds. There was a forensic audit, a forensic auditor who was appointed, and of course NCLT stepped in, lenders sort of stepped in, and things went south very, very fast. And then in 2020, you know, Tube Investments, which is part of the Murugappa Group, bought controlling stake. This happened on, I mean, the transaction finally was completed on the 26th of November 2020. So late that year, this is, of course, COVID time, and they infused, you know, 800 crores into the company to begin with. Now, that's the history, right, and how it all really began. I'll get to what the stock has done in just a bit. But, you know, the turnaround sort of person really here is the MD and CEO, Mr. Natarajan Srinivasan, who took over as MD and CEO in the depths of COVID in 2020. I mean, think about it. A company which is going through that kind of stress, you take over, there is a global pandemic going on, and you can't obviously do face-to-face meetings, and, you know, everything has got to be on Zoom. All of that stuff is happening in the background, and you're trying to engineer a revival of the company, right? Mr. Srinivasan, of course, is a corporate veteran, nearly 40 years of experience. Started his career at BHEL, been with the Murugappa Group for 20 years, served as a director in Murugappa Corporate Board, and of course was also MD Cholamandalam Investments and Finance. So a pretty illustrious career overall. And, you know, what he's done, of course, him and of course his team has done is quite remarkable. Look at this. This is, you know, a quick snapshot. These are the latest numbers we have, right? FY20 is the last figure. Before, of course, ownership changed hands, and that is, I've taken one more year, so you don't see exactly the worst of the numbers, but you take 1 year before as well, when, you know, trouble really hit home hard. FY19, FY20, and if compared to FY24, I mean, you can see what's happened. Look at revenues, look at EBITDA, and look at adjusted profit loss, 850 crores in profits, as compared to, of course, I mean, the prior year sort of numbers are up on your screen. This is the stock price trajectory, right? All the way back from I've taken last 24 years, year 2000 to year 2024. And, you know, you tend to compare these figures from, you know, the stock had gone down to $5, from 5 rupees, it's come to 600, 700 rupees. I'm not doing that. I'm just looking at where it was when the Murugappa Group took over. That was 25 rupees a share. From 25, of course, it's gone up to, I mean, at the high, of course, it hit almost 700 rupees and it's sort of closed slightly under it. Before the takeover and before there was none of this trouble with the Thapar Group, with the Thapars who were the earlier owners, you know, the high, of course, was about 100 rupees per share. So kind of even from that level, you know, it's actually gone up about 6 times or so. So it's just absolutely been a stellar rally. What next for CG Power? That's, of course, the story. The management is confident of doubling the size of the existing business, both sales and profit after tax, in the next 4 to 5 years. The existing businesses, of course, are switchgears, transformers, motors. They're expanding capacities across all of these categories, actually. And they're, of course, also foraying into the semiconductor testing space, the OSAT space, towards which they've actually committed some amount of money. So this is the story, right? 26 times from the 25 rupees in the last 3.5 years. And that's what sort of, stable leadership and turnarounds can look like. Any point from that 25 rupee journey you could have gotten in. And this is, of course, this would have been a big multi-bagger. Let me actually put this to Kenneth.